Never know.
48 years to come back. Not that I know of. We'll stand for the pledge of the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Recognition of guests, other than you folks. Does anyone want to address council? I don't see any residents out there. Want to beat me up? This is good. This is real good. Okay. So they'll come next month because they're listening. So you out there, come and beat me up. Okay, can I have a motion to accept the council minutes of February? Any questions? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion to pay the bills. Any questions on those? All those in favor? Any opposed? BPA bills are there for your information. Motion to accept the fiscal officer's monthly financial reports. Any questions? All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, I'm going to start with one piece of old business I'm going to add here tonight. The engineer tells me that the slope project is 30% complete, and we have a decision to make, and he wants to tell us what that might be.
Yeah, so I can thank you, Mayor. We're 30% complete, so we need some direction on design. I kind of handed out you a quick highlight sheet and a cross-section sheet, kind of plan sheet. I know it's pretty confusing, but this is mostly, if we have any questions, we can talk about it. But the sheet with the highlight sheet is really what I'm going to go over right now. As you know, this is the embankment side slope to correct the erosion and slipping over on the south side of Greenwich Road between the driveways at 6676 and 6610. We also wanted to widen the walkway offset from the edge of pavement for safety of walking traffic. And so we got 30% complete, and it was our initial opinion that we were going to have to talk about if we had to move the sidewalk and what that was going to cost. But after going through the survey and design, that's actually not a problem. We can easily get a 5-foot offset from the edge of pavement, which is ODOT recommendation for a 35-mile-an-hour zone. So you'd have a 5-foot distance from the edge of pavement to the front of the walk.
That's gonna about double what is there now, right?
So it actually varies right now. It doesn't quite double it, but I think the closest point is like 3 feet. So it's pretty, yeah, then we're going to 5. Now, we have a 13-foot clear zone, which is the requirement from ODOT from the edge of pavement to the top of the new slope. So we're gonna go flat and then drop. We have 13 feet there. So we have actually room to make the sidewalk 6 feet off the edge of pavement if we wanted to. So that's going to be the first option you guys, the first decision you guys have to make. Do you want to keep it at 5 foot, which is ODOT recommendation and about 2 foot further than where we are now, or do you want to make it 6 feet and go even further away?
Is there extra cost?
No.
I figured it was 6 feet then.
What is the existing sidewalk on the end, on either side of that? Bare area?
Yeah, I can do the math real quick. I don't know off the top of my head. Let's see here. Oh yeah, that first driveway is way off. You know how it bends in? I don't know what that distance is. They'd have to scale it off. That looks like it's 10 feet. And on the other side, it's at 5 feet. So if we kept it 5 foot, we would be kind of matching that run, going out to 10. And if we brought it to 6, we'd kind of go out, come back in a little bit.
I assume out here it's 5 feet.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure
why we would want to be consistent.
Yeah, we designed it to ODOT specs first, so we did 5 foot. And we found we can do 6 if we want to, so I just wanted to let you guys know.
But several hundred,
linear feet of
Yes.
additional concrete is not gonna cost any more.
There's no additional, we have to take the sidewalk out no matter what. We're just, when we put it back, we're not gonna put it back where it was, we're gonna bring it out a little bit.
And this is gonna stop at which drive?
66, 6610 to 6676. So I think so, huh?
Is that Bittner or Penrose's driveway?
I don't know.
You said 6610?
6676. Those are the addresses of the drivers, I don't know the owner's names.
So, remember when we were out there?
Yeah, we
were
walked
talking about
by
all
the
those
driveway.
pine trees that we're gonna have to take, the second driveway or the next one?
It should be Penrose's driveway.
Sounds like Penrose's
It should be, yes.
I think it was for the far, it's like 600 some feet.
Penrose's is that main drag that goes back that does Bittner also, and those are Penrose
Penrose is the one before that.
before
His
that.
is a private drive. Well, they're all private, but his is a single drive, it's not.
So there's no big drop, I can't pick, no big drop off after his driveway to be concerned about here,
To
going up that way.
the east?
Yeah.
Not what I would consider to be a big drop, no.
So this should latch in just fine.
It should.
Okay,
Yeah, I was,
And that sidewalk is probably 5 foot.
it should be 5 foot if it was constructed correctly, everywhere, that's the ODOT, 35 mile an hour. Don't want to be any closer than 5 foot.
Well, I'm just wondering, if you go to 6 foot, then
We'll have
we're
a
going out and then we're coming
Oh,
back.
yeah, you'll have a foot come back at the end, but
because just beyond, it won't be that far,
the,
you've got Bittner's Drive, and then you've got maybe a house, and then you,
And then we got
and then you got all the new coming in there. And we all do sidewalk in there, I'm sure.
so there's that wood fence there right now that we're replacing. You guys recall that wood fence?
Yeah.
If the sidewalk's at 5 foot, at the end of the sidewalk, we got 3 or more feet before it starts going down. So that fence would be, split the difference, if you have 1.5 feet fence, then another 1.5 feet, then it'll go down. If we go to 6 feet, that's only 1 foot away from the fence, if that makes any difference.
We decided 5.
You're doing 5 foot?
That's what I heard here across the board was 5. 5 feet from where, are we talking about,
Yeah, the sidewalk, you want 5 feet or 6 feet off the edge of pavement.
didn't we say we wanted it to stay consistent or not? Are we,
I think we voted.
We didn't
Well,
make a decision.
okay.
Yeah, you were debating it, and I was just bringing up the fence, because you'll be moving closer to the fence by 6 inches, if you want 6 feet back.
I mean, I mean, from a safety standpoint, it'd be nicer to have. But depends on how we tie it into the rest of the sidewalk.
Yeah,
Well, the drawing you have, has the sidewalk is hatched, like pink color. The post sidewalk, and that's shown at 5 feet off. Well, if you went 6 feet off, you just have to, like, if you look at you can see at the plan view, you can see on the far left, the top diagram on the far left, how the sidewalk kind of bends up. It's going from 10 feet to 5 feet off, and then it's kind of just straight all the way, and then at the end, it doesn't bend at all. Are you guys with me?
Yeah.
If we went to 6 feet, we would be down toward the bottom of the page a foot, which is very little on scale, and it would kind of bend up. Actually, it looks like we're ending right in this driveway, so it wouldn't even be a noticeable bend, it would be offset a foot between the driveway. So what, yeah, go from 6 to 5 feet over, it would transition across the driveway.
Well, that doubles. For 6 feet.
Yeah, I was gonna recommend 6.
Yeah.
I'm 6.
6 and this.
okay, I'm sure I understand it.
All right, so here's the second one, this is the kind of the biggest one, if there really is one. The geotech engineers suggest a 1 to 1.7 slope, and it's gonna be reinforced with the nails. And if we wanna hold 1.7 all the way across, make it nice and uniform. If we do that, we have to extend the culvert 6 feet. you know, that big concrete box culvert. Right now, it's got wing walls that are deteriorating and the wing walls are in good shape, that would be replaced. So we would bring the culvert out 6 more feet, put the wing walls up, and it would be 1.7 all the way across. Or we cannot touch the culvert. And then we would be 1.7 until we got to the culvert, we'd have to steepen it up a little bit to go around the culvert and back down to 1.3. They said, the geotech said there's no problem with that, it would still be reinforced, it's just they use different backfill. And there's an interruption in construction as they change material, then go back for the steeper slope. That's the negatives of it, it's not uniform. The positives is it's about $14,000 cheaper. Yes, $710 if we narrow it and don't extend the culvert, $724 if we extend the culvert and make it all uniform.
$14,000.
Yeah. My recommendation would be to make it uniform.
Do it, you want to extend it.
Yeah, because we
Well,
would,
especially if it's starting to deteriorate.
I was gonna say, how long before
Before it
those wing
starts.
walls have to be replaced anyway?
do you remember how those wing walls look, Dave? When they're not falling down or anything, but
No.
they're not new.
Yeah, but I would hate to go through and do all of this work and then 10 years later, we're
Have to
tearing
redo the
something
wing
back
walls,
up.
right? I think it's a good idea. I was gonna recommend uniform and extend the culvert just for ease of construction, efficiency and maintenance. Everything's the same. You don't have two different situations.
Circumstances. That's option A on the sheet here.
If we replaced that culvert 5 years ago and it was,
Option A is,
that'd be different. but-
option A is the 724,000. That's extending the culvert. It's the more expensive of the two.
And you'd like a voted decision on one of
We would like direction on design. I would recommend, I mean, if you guys couldn't convene, I would have went ahead with the more expensive one because it's.
So we're gonna go 6 feet, we're gonna go with the extended culvert. That's the direction we're looking.
And I have one more question after that, but yes.
All right, let's get the first one.
Last one, now, both these prices are, these are estimates, they're estimates, so they don't include right away. If we have a problem with right away acquisition, that might increase the costs. And these are 2025 inflated prices. And they include stripping and repaving of 1 lane where we're doing the work on Greenwich Road. And I asked the engineer for the estimate on that because I didn't know how beat up it would get. But they seem to think they don't want on the road at all, and we don't have to pave it if we don't want to. So if you don't want to repave the road, we can take another 20,000 off the price of the project. So it would go from 724 to 724, yeah, 724 to 703.
We want to repave it if we screw it up.
Okay, so we can have it as a contingency then,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave it in,
Yes.
okay,
and if we don't use it, and we don't need to use it, that's okay.
that's what I was gonna, all right. So here's 6-foot extend culvert kind of like a bid all on the paving. Where we will bid it, but we may not, it'll be our choice to perform it. Okay. Extend culvert. That's all the direction we needed to finish design. I don't know if you guys have any
What's the
specific
second
questions.
motion? Somebody, go, you frame the motion.
I would go on, you can say you follow the engineer's recommendation of 6-foot sidewalk setback. Extend the culvert to maintain proper slope and bid the paving as an alternate item.
Second.
Any more questions on that? All in favor?
Okay.
Did we take care of you?
If you have any questions on this, as you browse through it or your board, give me a holler. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah, that was, doesn't always go that nicely. Surprised even you probably, huh?
Okay. You're a little more than I thought.
All right,
It's a lot easier.
thank you. Okay, there's no more old business. I'll move to no business. Ordinance 2024-1, the 2024 appropriations. This is just the first reading. That's all I do in a reading.
Yeah.
correct? I don't know. If so, it's in the readings. Item 2. Purchase of the 2024 Ford Explorer Police Interceptor. Chad, you want to speak to the vehicle cost and all that?
Yeah, I might pull a plug on that, for this particular thing. I came upon some information today that, we're initially looking at 48,000 for the vehicle is what I've been quoted. Plus another 14,000 from the outfitter to convert as much as we can off the old car into the new car, plus the necessary new equipment on it. But I was over talking with Chief Kehoe today in Lodi, and he's purchasing a vehicle through the same dealership, and they are the state bid contract, according to Ohio procurement for Ford vehicles. So it shouldn't be this guessing game. And there's quite a bit of difference in discrepancy between the price of his vehicle and the price of the one I've been quoted. And
Push it off another month. Okay. All right. Okay. We'll hear from you next month on that one. Okay, item 3 would be to change the use of the property at 6532, 6544, and 6556 Greenwich Road. That would be the Westfield Country Club expansion project. Planning Commission met a week and a half or so ago on that. And Julie, why don't you fill them in on what they recommended?
Absolutely. So after hearing from Westfield, it looks like that the single family homes that are looking to be a change of use are mostly used just for their incoming employees as temporary housing and such. So it's not full residential all the time use. We're also looking at taking them out and then expanding the footprint and moving the footprint of the pool house and the pool. And they can speak to more as to exactly what this leads to. It actually, by moving the pavement into a curve, it actually comes away from the property line on the far end, you can see. And we recommended that it come here as a proposal to pass the change of use. So it's going from residential to golf, so they can make these different changes. We can have them do an overview of the project, see what other questions. We discussed lighting, the parking lot. We discussed the parking spaces. Everything seemed to fit in line.
Tonight is not a final.
Right.
Gonna go kind of thing. Tonight is strictly change of use, and basically we feel it's good to go, and they will move down the road with the different things with planning commission and council have to be. But it's also a good chance for any of us to ask any questions. We might. So, 4 of them out there. They all know something. Together, I think they know a lot. So anybody have any questions for them?
Well, since we're on sidewalks, I do have a question because there is sidewalks in front of the homes there. And I'm sure that during construction, they'll probably get maybe damaged or whatever. Will you replace the sidewalk there? And then the second part is, do you have an appetite to take the sidewalk on the other side up to Ironwood?
Would you like me to return or not?
We got too many people here. We gotta figure out who wants to answer.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Obviously, during construction, and again, my name's Travis Matthews. I'm with Environmental Design Group. I'm part of the Soul Harris State Design Team and the Westfield Design Team on this project. Any sidewalk that's damaged as a result of construction would be replaced in kind per your specifications. But again, as the questions are really pertaining to construction, right now, we're really in this very, very preliminary state in terms of the design and the planning of this pool facility. So as we move into that next step, should the new use be approved, we'll be having continued conversations about what that scope of work is from a construction standpoint to make sure that we're meeting everybody's needs and expectations.
It looks like they're, can you speak a little bit to the landscaping and the planning that would be fronting Greenwich Road? It looks like there's an awful lot of plant material in here. Which is nice, including what appear to be some larger trees, is the idea to screen out as much of the pool and tennis courts as possible.
That is exactly right. In addition to trying to set it back a little bit further from the edge of the roadway, we'd want to introduce landscape screening, maybe a combination of landscape and earth mounds to buffer and screen views of the pool facility from not only Greenwich Road, but also the adjacent neighbors to the west.
Yeah, and along those same lines to the neighbors south and, west and north.
Yeah.
Flood lighting, security lighting, you know, the intensity of same with regard to impact on the immediate neighbors.
Yeah, that's a great question. This facility will be closed at 8 o'clock in the evenings and only open during Memorial Day to Labor Day. The only lighting that we're proposing at this point in time or conceptualizing is security lighting and parking lot lighting, when maybe some low-level accent lighting around the pool facility. And as part of that next design phase moving forward, we'll come forth with photometric calculations to show what those light levels are for any of the lighting that we're proposing for the project, to make sure that we're not having an adverse impact on the neighbors.
Tennis courts won't be lighted?
No.
It helped a lot, and planning and zoning when we had the existing overlay to where, can you speak to how it's shifting a little bit? Because it's actually pulling a little bit further and going with the curvature of the parking lot and everything.
So we've got a 50-foot building setback on our west boundary and then a 60-foot building setback on our north boundary. So we're setting the building back significantly more than that, as well as the parking. With the pool deck itself conceptually about 119 feet or 120 feet from the west boundary, and then approximately 53 feet from the property boundary to the north along Greenwich. And then intermixing that with landscape to buffer.
And the entrance is staying the same?
The entrance is staying the same.
It looks like you're not gonna touch the entrance.
At this stage in the game, we are not changing the location of that entrance.
So, I mean, there'll be no additional entrance toward the pool or toward the tennis courts on Greenwich Road, right?
Correct.
You only access those from inside the club.
From inside the campus, and so all service delivery and vehicular access going to the pool facility will enter in through the existing main vehicular entry off of Greenwich with no additional entrance.
Any laws around the monument sign?
There has been some discussion about that, but nothing has been finalized at this point.
What was the question there?
The monument sites in the right of way.
The big brick sign?
The way it's juxtaposed on
Oh,
that entryway, it's
oh.
always.
Out in the right of way.
Yeah, it's always been a little bit.
Oversight one was built.
I see. Well, I see, obviously, you're gonna do nothing to the west of the driveway where you enter. All this work is to the right of your driveway.
Oh, yeah, which is to the west.
Nothing to the east.
Nothing to the east.
Nothing to the east, excuse me.
Correct.
Everything's to the west.
Any idea on timing?
Alan Hazard from Westfield Group. Ideally, demolition would start this coming fall, November, December time period.
So this I'm assuming this master plan is going to be a phased approach, right?
That is correct.
Working your way all the way to the clubhouse.
But when are you gonna start working through the real particulars? To our engineer and Dave and zoning and the whole.
Yep, so
Lucas Hartman, Soul Air Stay Architecture. Our goal is about midsummer, June, to submit for the full site plan review, which point we can look at all of the engineering details, notifying neighbors, going through that full process, but we're hoping end of June, July, around that time.
Remember, we meet the first Tuesday and the planning commission meets on an as-needed basis, but
Correct.
on some of that, there's requirements to send out notices to adjoining property owners, and there's timings on that and that kind of thing. You want to familiarize yourselves with all of that.
Yes, we've reviewed that.
In a timing problem.
How much has been communicated to the membership?
So
And the reason I ask is because it's in a public meeting now. We all live here in town. There's a lot of members in town. And they're gonna say, hey, what are they doing at the country club?
Amy McNutt, I'm the Country Club Operations Leader. We have started just a very general comment on the amount of work, just the investigation work that's being done, and that's been included in our membership emails for several weeks now. The plan is we are actually meeting as a larger club employee team on Monday, the 11th, and on Tuesday, the 12th, our emails to our members go out on every Tuesday. There'll be an expanded version of the plan, still very high level, because we obviously, as you heard from Lucas and Travis, we have a lot of work still to do, but a little more in depth on what the project plan will be communicated on the 12th to the members.
When you shut down the clubhouse, you're gonna pitch a big tent and put in a bar and a restaurant, or is that just all gone, everything gone?
To be determined, right?
Am I correct that you are keeping the one pool open while this one is being built?
Correct.
Is it same with the tennis courts? Are they gonna be open or?
No, the
Those will have to be
the
done
tennis
now.
courts will not be open during construction.
Other questions for them?
Yeah.
Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll remember your names. I apologize now, I'm terrible with names.
So,
Will you be sticking around for the rest of the meeting?
Depends on how long the rest of the meeting is.
Really good answer.
It won't be long. Val asked an interesting question. I mean, I know you're not doing anything east of the entryway, but it sure would be nice if you throw in a sidewalk all the way to the condos. I mean, we'd just be forever grateful. I just throw that out there since Val brought that up. I don't blame her, but that would be beyond wonderful. Alan, you take that back.
Noted.
But with a smile.
We might have to figure out a new bridge to go over
That'll
the
be the
top.
challenge.
Just from a procedural standpoint, to do the actual change, would require an ordinance.
Oh,
And there,
no, not an ordinance.
to actually change the use, but I think that can happen in connection with the next.
We're gonna just change it tonight with a vote.
Oh.
Can't do that? It takes an ordinance to change it.
You were changing it definitively right now, tonight?
Well, we're just changing use. We're not changing, did we do that? Did we?
The planning commission made the recommendation, right? And the council is taking the recommendation to actually take the action this evening. Is that the plan?
Well, I didn't have 5 people, so I couldn't have done anything. But it was just gonna do a 4-zip vote here tonight.
I think it may. So is you.
How about if we pass a 4-0 thing here tonight, and then we'll do an ordinance
That would be great.
on top of it next
The
month?
next meeting, because-
Is that okay, or guys?
So we're gonna approve proceeding to an ordinance.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I think there, if you look at the statute, there's a voting requirement, and I think we're there because we do have 4 people present, so if everybody were to vote yes, then you'd have your majority of the members of council, not just a majority of the quorum. So if you had a 3-1 vote tonight, it might be a problem, but I think your voting requirement's there either way. I just wasn't sure if you were kicking this to the next meeting for action.
Wasn't going to, but I'm perfectly willing.
Well, I don't want to hold their time, but knowing that their plan is fall, that may be the.
It would behoove us to keep
There we
them
go.
rolling. I
Yeah,
remember their.
yeah.
let's keep them rolling.
Can I have a motion to approve a change in use tonight, and we'll top it off with a ordinance next month so they can get moving. Can I have a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
It's pretty sloppy, but we're getting you there, guys. Okay. Cemetery, Mr. Oakes.
The cemetery committee met last month, and late last month, on a change to the general regulations of the village code, chapter 1062 regarding the cemetery with regard to transfer of ownership of cemetery lots. And we currently have a gift provision and a testate succession provision for the transfer of lots, which has proven to be over the last couple of years inadequate to address a lot of the requests we get from cemetery lot owners regarding their wishes and change of ownership under a variety of different circumstances. So the law director has proposed and the cemetery committee has approved change to paragraph 2 of 1062, which you don't have in front of you, but you will next month. Which is modified to address options for transfer upon death of an owner to include a testate succession provision similar to what we already have, but modified considerably, plus a non-probate transfer provision, as well as some additional clarifications on provisions related to transfer on death. So we have to change this by ordinance, which we can't do tonight, and so we will kick it down to next month.
Next month also.
This is just for your information.
Okay. Thank you. We'll see that next month. Mr. Rob, you having a comment on the natural gas?
Yeah, our current natural gas agreement expires in May of this year. It was a 3-year agreement, and we had a very good price on it. So we worked with Community Energy to go out and start soliciting pricing, watch the market, kind of watch what the futures were doing. Made a decision to enter into a new agreement. We actually had our current supplier, and then along with AEP. Aaron looked at the new contract for our current supplier along with the new AEP contract. AEP came in with the best pricing. We're locking in on another 3-year agreement. So that will go into effect in May and then be for 3 years.
And that's already been signed.
Correct. Yeah, everything's ready to go. It's
already go. It's for your information. Okay, anything else, Jason, engineers report? Police department.
Report for February, we had 1 report, 7 calls for service, 3 officer initiated calls for a total of 10. We had no crashes in the village. We had 33 officer generated citizens assists, 31 vacation watches. We had 1 assist to the Westfield Fire Department, 3 to the Sheriff's Office, 6 to the Seville Police Department, 3 to Lodi Police for a total of 13. We had 7 traffic stops, no criminal arrests, 7 warnings, and no citations.
Questions for the chief? You mentioned you're looking into the car for further. Are you planning to have that on next month, or you plan that maybe take a while?
It might take a while. I don't know what the timeline on it is on that.
Okay.
Part of the reason I asked for that motion is because we could do that permanent appropriation ordinance. If we pass that permanent appropriation ordinance, we've allowed for the purchase of the car. So I mentioned it separately.
I thought we couldn't pass the permanent appropriation.
We couldn't, that's why I asked for this motion today, but if he puts it off till next month, we'll have that ordinance
We'll have
passed.
that.
So,
So we'll have that all taken care of.
yeah. I'm not real sure unless you want to vote on the police car separately, you won't need to.
Actually, we won't have the permanent appropriations done until 2 months. This is just reading one of 3.
Well, next month I didn't figure to read a second. I just figured to,
Okay, we got you.
Good to know.
And I guess just to add, the reason I asked Deb to bring this up is there was, at the time when I was comfortable with everything, there was some sense of urgency that this vehicle was
Yes,
ours.
she explained that to me, yes. So, so we understood that, but now we don't have that, so, we'll pass the permanent appropriations next month and
Okay.
you'll be golden. Fire Department, Chief Hall.
Monthly activity report for February, we had a total of 43 runs. 30 of those runs were from 8 in the morning to 8 at night. 13 of those runs were from 8 at night to 8 in the morning. The first 8 and the district count, those are all mutual aid calls, and I covered that on the second sheet. But we had 20 calls to the township, 11 to the village. We received mutual aid 5 times, all from Seville. And then on the next page, we gave it 12 times, and we were kind of all over the county, it seemed, felt like, so. Just some department updates. I know I'm gonna bring this up because a lot of people have been asking. Was involved with the fire pump commissioning and 2-hour, 200-pound sprinkler test at the new Westfield Commerce Park, which is the large building down here, the truck stops. It finally passed. They were given a temporary, at the time, I believe it was the next day. I can't remember if I put on what day I was down there. Yeah, February 8th. I think like on the 9th or so, or a few days after that, they were gonna get their temporary certificate of occupancy. Because they had some fire caulking to do, around some holes through walls and stuff like that. But I can tell you, Geist contractor, they did send me the pictures and they got everything done. So I'd imagine at this point, they have their certificate of occupancy. And I was trying to put some feelers out. I was like, hey, get anyone biting on this? And the 2 guys there like, oh, they don't tell us anything. So I'm like, okay. So hopefully maybe that, yeah, but it can be occupied as of now, so. And then, just membership, no report, community, no report. Well, back up to the community, because it has gotten out. Unfortunately, we will not be doing the clam bake this year. Last year, we didn't make a dime on it. So, our association decided it was best to cancel for this year. They are looking at other avenues as far as fundraising goes. So it's not that we're not gonna do anything, but they have several things in the works right now. And then grants, on the last page, we did receive the State Fire Marshal's training reimbursement grant for $14,500. And that was money spent in 2023 to train new people, stuff like that. So we were able to recoup 95% of the cost for all those folks. So we're very grateful for this State Fire Marshal and his willingness to give us some money. So, and that's all I have unless council has anything for me.
I just have one quick question. Anything coming down the pike on millage you guys are gonna be looking at?
They just talked about it last night, but there was nothing set in stone yet.
When's your deadline to set the stone?
I believe they have to have all that stuff submitted by August.
Oh, so they're not planning on doing anything.
No, it would be on the November ballot.
That's all.
Yeah, that's why.
Their primaries in March, there isn't a May election this year.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so they're planning on November.
I was just wondering whether they have some.
Yeah, nothing as of yet.
Back on the warehouse, have there been any issues with, vandalism or anything like that there? I imagine it's been watched pretty closely.
I can tell you just from being down there and going, nothing to the building, but there's definitely been some, somebody's had some fun doing some burnouts throughout the parking lot. It's pretty marked up, but other than that, there's been no vandalism of any other
It
sort.
just seems like it would only be a matter of time before
Yeah.
something goes down.
Looks like it's set in 2 years.
I'm sorry?
It's set in 2 years.
Chief Fletcher was here when this project started, so, so it's probably been close to maybe 2 years,
Finished
but.
for over a year.
Yeah, they broke ground maybe 2 years, but yeah, the finish is.
The biggest thing was the water issue and not having enough water for the fire pump, but it does have enough water now, so. Great question, and unfortunately, I don't have the answer for you, because
Everybody is blaming everybody.
there
Yeah,
was a lot of this going on, so.
We built the sewer plant and the control building fell down. Boy, everybody else's fault. Yes, I'm sure that's the way it is out there. Yeah. Okay, we're all the way down to Mr. Pittsburgh.
February superintendent report. Wastewater, we processed 4.78 million gallons, filed the monthly and annual EPA reports that go along with that, performed all the required operational testing and the routine equipment maintenance. Village Hall, we service the lighting system. The streets, performing maintenance on the equipment. We stalled it a few times. We've taken possession of the new mowing equipment that we ordered this year, and we've recertified for the nuisance animal control. There's no activity at the cemetery. The parks, we've started prepping ball fields. We actually start playing ball in 2 weeks up there. And no activity in zoning.
Questions for Dave?
Speaking of the ball field, is this we got another year or two of Cloverleaf baseball?
At least another year, but I'm assuming it's probably gonna be 2 or 3.
Other questions for Dave? Mayor's report, nothing to report. Law director.
Nothing beyond what we talked about tonight.
Council comments and concerns. Bittner is absent. Val Connick. Julie McNabb.
Just real quick, reminder about the eclipse on Monday, April 8th. The latest estimate went a lot further down. Is now Ohio EMA says about 128,000 should be impacting our lovely areas, and all the schools in the county are now closed for that day, so that will help. And then county offices and the courts are also closed, we found out. So they say the best thing to do is, if you can, that was gonna be one question I was gonna ask, if what Westfield was gonna do. Are they gonna make it like a work from home day, or? Because they said the travel is gonna be awful. You'll get in, but you won't get out.
So we actually had a discussion about this today with our security team, and they're working with HR to determine the game plan. There will be no additional events or activities at the club or at the office on that day planned. But our security leader is working with HR to determine a more official. Monday is a small work in office day anyway. So, it is likely there'll be very little traffic in the office at that time. I don't know, Alan, if Alan has anything more to add to that, but.
Agreed.
I don't have any.
Walkup is not here. Next meeting is Tuesday, April 2. No executive session and motion to adjourn. All in favor? We are adjourned. Thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you.